So I went ahead and rewatched Islam Makhachev versus Alex Volkanovski. It's free on YouTube. Check it out. Oh my God, what a tremendous fight. But most importantly, I was watching the fight. There was one scene where the camera went over the crowd in the front rows, or you can see it in the background, like who's sitting in the front rows. And then I noticed the girl, and I was like, wow, she looks familiar. She was wearing like fancy eyeglasses, sunglasses. And then I realized it was Nina Agdal. Nina Agdal was there. It was like, wait, is she alone? And then around round 4, this was about round 2 when I saw it. And then round 4 comes around, and I saw, of course, Logan Paul sitting with Nina Agdal, and they were watching the fight. I believe this was definitely a little bit after the this Prime deal they signed with the UFC. So Prime became the official sponsor of the UFC, and I think this was shortly after. I'm pretty sure they didn't just go to Australia to watch the pay-per-view, right, and the fight. Maybe they did, but I think it's probably correlated to the Prime deal, and he was just in attendance there. It's a business trip. So yeah, that's funny. I saw them there, and this was way before the Dillon Danis drama, and they were definitely not in the center of attention as much as today. So yeah, that was funny. But now, anyways, back to the fight. Fight was incredible. You gotta rewatch some of the matches, especially as good of a match as this. I mean, this is like a Hall of Fame match. Incredible fight between two champions for the pound for pound. Islam Makhachev defending the belt at 155. Volkanovski went up to challenge him, and it was incredible. Like, at first, I was even skeptic about Volkanovski, given his size, how short he is, that he's not going to bring much to the table, anything other than the other lightweights brought. But oh boy, I mean, he gave him the biggest fight out of all the lightweights. So how good is Alex Volkanovski? He's very good. He's incredibly good. One of the greatest of all time. We can definitely say that. Same goes for Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev is so damn good. We learned something new there, you know. He was without Khabib. He was without his head coach. The head coach was there, but Khabib was not there. And this was the first time he was alone without Khabib. And boy, oh boy, he delivered. Kudos to him. I mean, he went to enemy territory. He was not fighting any home ground or anything similar to a home ground, because he went to Australia. He went to Perth, right where from Alex Volkanovski is. And he beat him. I mean, I had 3-2 as far as the rounds. I think the first, second, and fourth round went to Islam Makhachev. And Volkanovski, I think, obviously won the fifth. That's for sure. Everybody can agree on that. And I think he won the third round. But I think some people had it 4-1 for Islam, including the third round, that he won the third round. I don't agree with that. And I don't know what the official scorecards are. Maybe it is 4-1. I'm not sure. It was definitely an anonymous decision. It wasn't a split decision. So yeah, but it was close. I mean, sure, he won the first, second. We can definitely agree on that as well for Islam. But that was close. He won the first round at the very end. If he didn't do what he did, where he knocked him down a little bit, grabbed him up against the cage Diddy's thing, if he didn't do that, he would have lost that round. That's how close it was. It was really, really close. He did it at the very end of the round. I think it was a minute before the end of the round. He managed to do that, and that took the win over the round. But what really surprised me was Islam's striking. I knew it was good. I knew his striking was better than Khabib's. Khabib's is just way better of a wrestler and way better sambo in general. But the striking of Islam Makhachev is, I think, superior to Khabib's. That makes him different. You still have the threat of the takedown. He's a great grappler, obviously. That's what he does. That's his bread and butter. But he improved his striking so much. It's crazy. And I think that's where Volkanovski kind of underestimated Islam. He wanted to stand up with him, but man, he had so many counter punches. He had some really good hooks. And he, knocked down Alex Volkanovski. You don't see people knocking down Alex Volkanovski. I think he did it quite a few times. And he just stumbled him sometimes. And Alex Volkanovski acknowledged a lot of the times, like shook his head, like, oh my God, not it. You know, he was like, that was a good shot. That happened numerous times. And I think Islam Makhachev underestimated also the defense, the takedown defense, and the wrestling grappling skills of Alex Volkanovski. The fact that he was able to get taken down, and not always, but in numerous times, he was able to get up, defend the takedown, turn around. That was incredible. And I think it's also the size of Volkanovski. Just, the way that he's shorter, his gravity standpoint is lower. He has the ability to react faster to those takedowns, where Islam is a much taller man. But still, at the same time, the timing and the speed of those takedowns of Islam Makhachev. There was an instance, I think that was the 4th round, when he took him down and he held him down until the end of the round. That was the very significant one. Just the way he took him down, that timing was flawless. It was just perfect. I really want you guys to rewatch this. It was incredible. Because when you rewatch the fight, you leave out all those emotions, maybe even the booze or whatever you're under the influence when you're watching the fight night. But when you're sober and you already know the outcome, you're focusing on the details. Man, that was just a great mixed martial artist. 2 great mixed martial artists going at each other, canceling each other's weapons, and then bringing something new to the table. And it was just a freaking great battle. Then what else to mention? I mean, the cardio as well. People, of course, compliment Volkanovski, but man, Islam is a bigger guy, went full 5 rounds. Sure, in the 5th round, he did start to slow down. Obviously, got taken down. He went under the ground and pound, and I believe if it was a 6th round, if there was any such thing in MMA, Alex Volkanovski would have taken the fight. I feel like Alex Volkanovski can go all day and fight. There's his cardio, his tank is unlimited. He can go do that forever, which is really impressive. I mean, I'm a big fan of cardio right now. I do a lot of endurance running, so I know what that means, especially in fighting. I also did martial arts myself before. I know how exhausting it is to go down, wrestle, get up, go back to sparring on the feet. I mean, it's just sparring. And I imagine in a fight where all the adrenaline, everything goes in, you got the whole arena cheering for you. You spend a lot of energy. But man, Alex looked like he could go forever. He could go 10 rounds. I would put my money on for him to go for 10 rounds versus anybody, really. So that was incredible also to see that. The pace of the fight, they were going at each other the whole time. There was no breaks. Like I said, you only showed signs of fatigue from Islam in the very end of the fight, where he was looking at the clock, and I'm like, man, this guy can go forever. Is it going to end already? But yes, Islam clearly won the fight. But after rewatching this whole thing, I think I want a rematch. People want a rematch. I'm more anticipating the rematch between those two than Oliveira and Islam. They're fighting in October, in less than a month, just like 3 weeks from now. So I don't think Charles Oliveira can bring to the table what Volkanovski can. He's just a whole different type of fighter, and he can't take just a blueprint from Volkanovski. It's a completely different fighter. And this also speaks levels of Volkanovski. I mean, how good is Volkanovski? Let's say he moves up a weight division, which I think he will do down the line at some point. He's just too good for featherweight. Nobody can really beat him. And now rewatching this, I think Alex Topuria is not on that level. No matter how much he prepares, no matter what he does, I don't think he's going to get on that level of Volkanovski. That's how confident I'm in him. I think he should move up a light division. I mean, imagine the matchups he has there. I'm not saying he's going to beat him that he's the biggest favorite, but the way he brought that fight to Islam, I mean, he did it better definitely than Oliveira did. We'll see what Oliveira does now, what Charles does the second time around, but compared to Justin, imagine those matchups. Volkanovski versus Dustin Poirier or Justin Gaethje. Imagine Michael Chandler. Even Conor McGregor at lightweight. That would be a great matchup. We can't see those two fighting in featherweight. I don't see Conor ever dropping down to featherweight ever. But why not at lightweight? If Conor can cut the weight, we don't know what Conor stands if he ever comes back. But if he can cut the weight and fight at lightweight, imagine the matchup versus Alex Volkanovski. Any of the fights. I mean, he will be a contender for sure. He might not be the champion. Who knows? We don't know. He has the potential. And I think in a rematch, we will see a completely different game plan between Islam Makhachev and Volkanovski. I think now going into the rematch, you would see Alex Volkanovski way more aware of the striking of Islam Makhachev, and still knowing that he can always do the takedown. But I think Volkanovski will also have even better takedown defense, because now he really felt how it is in person when he goes for those takedowns, what triggers those takedowns, in what position, the timing of it. It's all really important. It's really small details. Like I said, I think 3-2, Islam won that fight as far as rounds. But they were close rounds. Even the rounds the third round where I said Volkanovski took it, that was very close. Islam could have taken that as well. So, yeah, incredible match. I definitely suggest you guys to watch it. Yeah, I'm joking around Nina Agdal, but regarding that fight as well, we don't know if it's going to happen. There's been rumors, and there's also comments from Dillon Danis about peace out, I'm out of this, screw this crap. All referring to the lawsuits that are being imposed on him from Logan Paul, from Nina Agdal. But I don't think those lawsuits have anything to do with the fight itself, so he may use that as an excuse to just back out of the fight, as Logan kind of expected it. But I think they're both just nasty people, to be fair. They're both scammers in their own way. I mean, you know, Logan Paul still has closed responses. You can't respond to him on Twitter or X. So that speaks levels to his insecurity about this whole situation and everything. And Nina Agdal, and then Dillon Danis is just like, dude, I get it. You can't tell me that you don't have the money. Like, if you're confident you're going to win the lawsuits, why don't you have the money to back it up, right? You can go into the court, and that has nothing to do with the fight. If you approach the fight, if you show up in the fight, you're going to make a bunch of money. You're still going to be good at the end of the day. Even if you lose some of those cases, you're going to be fine financially. So that doesn't make sense. You know, if he goes out and says, you know what, I'm not fighting, and he's willing to pay that penalty of, what is it, 100K if he doesn't show up at the fight. Yeah, but sure, we'll see what happens. That's less important. More important is the MMA, what I'm watching, and that's what I'm really focused on. And UFC 294, that's coming up in Abu Dhabi. So, but Islam Makhachev, yes, how good is really Islam Makhachev? And will he at some point go to 170? I'm pretty sure he will. He actually showed interest in the 170, and I think he can definitely be a good matchup for, let's say, Colby, for Leon Edwards, for Bilal Muhammad, for Kamaru Usman. That would be incredible to watch, especially after rewatching this fight with Alex Volkanovski. By the way, I'm not a fan of Islam at all, but I respect the skill set he has and what he brings to the table and his future legacy. I think he will do great things, and he might be even more accomplished at the end of the day than Khabib. If he manages to remain a champion, defend the belt once or twice or 3 times more at the lightweight, that will be already more than Khabib did. And then he goes up to 170 and manages to be a double champion, even with that one loss that he had, or even if he loses one more time, in my opinion, that might be a bigger legacy, better score than Khabib ever did. Even though we all agree that he's no Khabib, right? Khabib is better than him. One-on-one, we think that Khabib would win. But at the end of the day, it's too early to call that, right? Who knows what will happen, what he will turn out to be. And of course, this all might end even now on UFC 294 in October. If Charles Oliveira managed to get an upset, knock him out, submit him somehow, that changes the whole landscape. We might never get a rematch with Volkanovski then. He might never go to welterweight. We will see. This is why this sport is so fun. It's so unpredictable. And but it's amazing. I think we live in an era where we are watching the most skilled fighters up to this date. The greatest of all times are fighting today in pretty much all divisions, almost all divisions. So yeah, what a time to be alive. What a time to be an MMA fan. Let me know what you guys think. Did you rewatch the fight on YouTube? Check it out. I highly suggest it. And let me know what you guys think. Does Charles Oliveira stand a better chance in this rematch, or are you more anticipating a rematch between Islam Makhachev and Alex Volkanovski? And of course, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to Octacage MMA. I'll see you very soon.